The year 2009-2010 was a year full of achievements. Our roadmap for Canada's linguistic duality is providing an unprecedented $1.1 billion over 5 years to the priority sectors of health, justice, immigration, economic development, culture, and education. Many components of the roadmap have already been announced. Last month, I announced the signing of an education protocol of more than $1 billion over 4 years between our government and the Council of Ministers of Education. The protocol sets aside funds for teaching in the minority language and second language teaching, as well as national bursary and language monitor programs. This protocol will enable thousands of students living in minority communities across the country, about 106,000 Anglophones in Quebec and 142,000 Francophones outside Quebec, to study in the language of their choice in the school of their choice. These are young Anglophones in Quebec City and Saguenay and young Francophones in Vancouver and Winnipeg. Furthermore, within the framework of federal-provincial agreements, our government gives its support to provinces and territories to offer second language teaching programs, including immersion programs. In September, our government announced a $10 million initiative to increase Francophone immigration to New Brunswick in the Atlantic region. This month marked the launch of the language portal of Canada with access to Termium Plus. The aim of this effective work tool, developed in Canada, is to give all Canadians access to expertise.
Services second language pilot project designed to give Canadian universities greater access to language learning products. And that does not include our continued support announced last July in the form of university scholarships in translation and initiatives for strengthening Canada's language professional sector. In arts and culture, official language minority communities now have access to works of art and performances in their own language and can raise the profile of their artists thanks to new programs established by our government last spring. For example, music showcases, the National Translation Program for Book Publishing, and the Cultural Development Fund. In September, our colleague Shelley Glover, announced an investment of more than $2 million in support of this fund. Notre gouvernement est fier du chemin.
Our government is proud of what has been done in the past 40 years. I am thinking of the establishment of my province's first French language high school, École Jules Verne, which is a personal anecdote in Vancouver. You will agree with me when I say that we have come a long way. From the outset, we have been committed to fully integrating both our official languages in the planning, organization, and operation of the 2010 Winter Games. Our additional investment of $7.7 million announced in September is proof of this commitment.
He said, quote, "I'm very pleased to see that the government has delivered with regard to the 2010 Games. I'm very happy. This is good news. Ces fonds iront au service de traduction et d'interprétation."
These funds will be used for translation and interpretation services, installation of bilingual signs in competition centers, and the inclusion of the French culture and language in the daily medal presentation ceremonies organized by each province and territory. I also announced that our government is providing $1.7 million for the creation of Place de la Francophonie, which will be located on Granville Island. In this facility, visitors will be able to meet and explore our Francophone culture in all its diversity. Since the start of Canada's Olympic adventure, our government has undertaken to ensure the presence and promotion of French and English during the Games. We are continuing in this direction, and we are going to remain vigilant so that the 2010 Winter Games are Canada's Games for all Canadians. In fact, a few weeks ago, I had the honor of co-chairing the 14th Ministerial Conference on the Canadian Francophonie in Vancouver. This conference took place in the Vancouver Convention Centre, which will be the official site of the main media centre for the 2010 Olympic and Paralympic Winter Games.
confident that the games will be bilingual, and that includes the broadcasting issue that I know has been raised at this committee. En terminant,
In closing, I must also note the announcement of the establishment of the Language Rights Support Program, the LRSP. The University of Ottawa was chosen to manage the program, and I have just named the members of the panel of experts required for delivery of the program. Let me quote Alan Rock on this program, and I quote, "I would like to thank the government for continuing to lead in the field of language rights in Canada." End of quote. Last, allow me to say that this is in full keeping with the university's mandate, which is to play a leadership role to reinforce the linguistic duality nature of our communities. And of course, I must not forget to talk to you about the World Congress of the Francophonie, which I had the privilege to take part in. Our government had invested $175 million in this excellent event, which was a huge success. It was a pleasure to take part in this moment with the Acadian community. Lastly, allow me to remind you that we are determined to maintain a positive dialogue with our partners. We will also continue to exercise our leadership on official languages. Thank you. I'm ready to answer your questions. My officials are also available to provide you further information on the initiatives that my department intends to launch.